In the Sermon on the Mount, he's attacking the deadliest sin of all. And what's that? It's pride. These religious leaders and all the people that followed them, which was the majority of the population of Israel, had on the outside said no to a lot of fleshly behaviors. Now, as I read this analysis of the first century, think about how similar it is to the 21st century. Think about what religion, even Christianity, has come to today in America. Think about how insidious pride is. They said no to outward violations of the Ten Commandments in Christ's day. They said no to adultery, no to the sins of the flesh, no to lying and murder and lust that manifest themselves in wicked behaviors. These are forbidden sins. These are the open sins. So they gladly restrain themselves from those on the outside. Did you know that in Christ's day, the rich young ruler, do you remember he ran up to Jesus, and he said, what must I do to go to heaven? And Jesus said, keep the law. And he says, I do. And he was not, he really outwardly was keeping all of the Ten Commandments. And he wasn't the only one. Most of the people in Christ's day felt that I don't commit adultery, I don't kill anybody, I don't steal, I don't, lie in public. Basically, the rich young ruler said, all these laws I have kept from my youth up. You can say, well, how can sinners do that? Because pride, spiritual pride, is such a self-satisfying sin that it makes up for all that you have to forfeit. Spiritual pride is like a drug. Once you start feeling the glow you get of people thinking that you're really something for everything you don't do, it just feeds this desire to do it more and to keep rules more. And spiritual pride is like a high, walking around overtly in spiritual pretense in the way you dress and the way you conduct yourself, and making outward pretenses and outward prayers and outward acts of manifesting fasting and making a picture of your giving and telling everybody what you give and everything else for all to see. And that's what they did. They found so much personal satisfaction in spiritual pride that they were willing to let other behaviors go. Spiritual pride is very powerful, but it's also a damning sin. It's the deadliest, because you can't tell why someone is living this way. Is it because God has given them a new heart? Or is it because they're proud of the fact that they are outwardly conforming to God's law?